everyone, welcome back to my podcast. This is Sunny, and I talk about life transformations with the power of unconditional self love. So, today I want to talk about what true self love means. So, we've all been there, waiting for likes, saying yes when we want to say no, looking for someone to tell us we are doing well. And I used to look for that approval for 20 long years, believe me. One compliment used to make my day, and one criticism used to ruin it. But real self love doesn't depend upon anyone else, to be honest. It's something that you build inside yourself first. Okay? Because it's always a journey from inside out, not from outside in. And you create a reality, you create a world from inside out. It doesn't matter that's your career, your relationship, your health, your wealth, everything. So the approval trap that we fall into is something, which is hard for us to recognize, right? Why? Because we are so used to that limited belief system and the societal beliefs that we have to get approval from outside all the time. For relationships, for our worth, for our value, for respect, for everything. Think about it. You post something online and keep checking for reactions, okay? And the way I make my videos, I just do my work and leave the outcome to the God, to the Creator, to the Divine, and surrender myself in case, if I'm able to get subscribers or not, And the same goes for my health, the same goes for everything else in my life now. So you stay late, you keep checking up what's going on with the likes, what's going on with the comments, and so on and so forth. And that there is always an emotional anxiety, okay? It feels good for a moment, but then it's gone. And then, you crave for more. And the problem is people keep changing their minds, okay? Their opinion shifts. And you're always chasing something that disappears. Why? Because, if you talk about relationships, there's always a sense of playing games with each other. When we want to attract a partner in our lives, when we want to get respect, right? And we always keep thinking about what the other person is going to be thinking about me. Have I done something wrong? Or do I have to improve myself to impress someone? So on and so forth. So those kind of thoughts keep popping up all the time. And approval like that is just like a quick snack, and it doesn't really fill you up, honestly. And for me, it was just like running after relationships from one relationship to another. And I was thinking, what's going on? What exactly do I need to change myself? And, that really and truly got triggered by someone, and I got a soul awakening. And through that process, I came to know what real self-love means. So when you notice where you seek approval, most of the times, that's your heart telling you to look inward, okay? Real self-love begins there. So when you start looking inwards, that's how you know what's a major difference between surface love versus real self-love. So let me give you a few examples. Surface love says, I feel good about myself when others approve, right? But the real love says, I accept myself even on difficult days. The real self-love is always eternal. It never goes away. The surface level love is always conditional. It's like the difference between a beautiful outside and strong foundations. And the surface might look perfect from outside, but can't handle storms. Strong foundations stand through anything because the true self-love is unconditional. It doesn't matter whether you have relationships or not. It doesn't matter the people respect you or not. It doesn't matter whether your bank balance is going down or up or not. It doesn't matter whether your health is up or down or not. It's all about giving yourself compassion, love, and peace during all those bad situations. What we usually do is we feel good when everybody else is talking good about us or everything is going fine in our lives, and then we start feeling bad and start criticizing ourselves and start hating ourselves, start regretting about certain things when the things are not going the right way. So that's the freedom the real self-love brings. And then what happens is the real self-love brings you all those opportunities, brings you all those relationships, brings you all that kind of calm and peace in your life, which you are truly worthy of. But the major mistake that we all do in our lives, and I was doing for a very long time, by putting others first and forgetting about ourselves. So let me give you an example, right? You're attracting a partner. Again, you forget about your goals, you forget about your workout, you forget about eating good, and then you completely compromise yourself for that other person. Other example, you're going through some financial crisis. Instead of looking into the areas where you need to grow in order to come out of that situation, what you keep doing is keep attracting worry, keep attracting anxiety. Why? I know it's hard. It's completely hard. Because when everything is going haywire, for us, it becomes difficult to give ourselves self-love. But I have talked about worry because worry is something that will keep pulling us down, and we are trying to control the outside situation, which is out of control. Instead of that, we just need to sit with ourselves and think about all those areas, all those things that would help us to come out of that situation. So we often put our own needs aside to keep others happy, right? It's all the time. And we agree when we disagree. So people keep asking you for going out, people keep asking you for doing certain things and taking out time out of your busy schedule. And we think that, okay, doing all those kind of things for them is something really good for us. Why? Because they need us. But what we forget about is we need ourselves first, because our priorities, our love, our respect, our worth should be the topmost priority, and nothing more than that, nothing less than that. Choosing yourself doesn't make you selfish at all. It makes you stronger. The people who truly care about you will understand it. So always remember, be kind, be humble, be straight with people in terms of what your priorities are from self-love point of view. And in case if they want to stick around, they will stick around. Otherwise, if they want to leave you, let them go. Think about the last time, you went against what you really wanted. That uncomfortable feeling was your heart asking you to choose differently. And we keep doing that mistake again and again, because this is the most important aspect of our lives, to truly give us love. That kind of self-love with that respect, that everything associated with you, your time, your energy, your peace, is more important than anything else in your life. Now I want to talk about the spiritual truth of self-worth. Spiritually speaking, your worth isn't something you earn from other people, okay? If you think like that you got a big bank balance and then people are gonna start respecting you, I think you're mistaken there, right? You're living in the world of a delusion. You're valuable simply because you exist. And many traditions teach us that everyone carries something sacred inside, right? When you seek love from others, it's like putting clouds in front of your own light. What it means is if you keep allowing those kind of people who will keep breaching your boundaries, keep breaching your peace, your unconditional self love, that means you're really and truly not taking those measures or not coming out of your comfort zone to have healthy boundaries and to keep your respect and your worth intact by showing your self love. Because you got to understand one thing, we majority of the times can show our self love from two major aspects, and we always do that from physical point of view, from financial point of view. But what happens when it comes to emotions? We fail there. And what we look for is something that society has taught us, that love is always about chase, 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 and love is all about playing games. Love is all about showing your worth, proving yourself, getting some kind of validation, so on and so forth. But love is not like that, okay? And people who truly love themselves, they will be more focused toward themselves, on their goals, on their physical outlook, on their clothing sense, on their emotions, on their mental health, on everything. So the understanding brings a quiet confidence that nothing can shake. And when you start loving yourself, that confidence that you get inside you is so amazing that it keeps growing, growing, growing. Because then you want to come out of your comfort zone and you want to explore certain different things in your life which you have never tried. So your value doesn't change, okay? Your worth isn't up for discussion. It doesn't depend on performance or popularity. Instead of thinking, I matter if they like me. And when you accept this, you stop asking for permission to take up space. You simply live from that truth. Small steps build this confidence, doing things for yourself without needing to explain why. So you do not have to justify yourself. You do not have to explain yourself to your friends, to your relatives, to your parents, to anybody, because your self-love is the most important thing that will give you eternal peace forever. And your old age is sorted out. So probably we think that building self-love is something that's going to happen all of a sudden. No, it's not going to happen all of a sudden, because every day we go through different kind of experiences in our lives. So every day we will see certain or the other challenges happening, and we would have to show that kind of unconditional self-love to ourselves during those situations. So let's say for me, sleep is an issue, right? Okay, so every majority of people would have that kind of problem, but we got to understand that, okay, why is it happening? What do I need to do to fix it? Am I progressing in it, or am I still at the same level, or so on and so forth? And then you keep leveling up, because there is no competition there to improve yourself. If you're keeping that comparison with somebody else in order to give you that kind of true self-love, or that kind of progression in your life, then that comparison will never go away, and then you will get trapped into the same kind of mindset, same kind of mentality, wherein we are always in a sense of comparison, and we are always thinking that we are living in lack. So real self-love grows through daily choices and saying no when something doesn't feel right. So you recognize your own efforts there, even when no one is around us, okay? Even when nobody is noticing us. Why? Because we gotta appreciate ourselves when we are doing good, and we gotta learn the lessons and keep improving from there when we're not doing good, without self-criticism. So accepting mistakes without any harsh judgment is such an important thing, which increases that amount of, showing love or compassion towards yourself happens. And then each time you choose yourself, you strengthen that inner foundation. It becomes easier over time, believe you me. Why? Because once we start that journey, right, then all the things, all the scenarios that we go through all the time, right? They might keep repeating, right? But you got to understand that if you have already shown yourself true love and you know how to do that, then you wouldn't be able to know how to do or how to show yourself true love in other situations as well. And that one small decision can start this process. And something simple that honors your own needs, right? So start slow, start small, and then you keep leveling up. True self love is something, again, which doesn't require anybody's approval, right? And it's all about living without an audience. So no audience is looking at you. Nobody is experiencing you. Nobody is noticing you. Nobody's, really knowing that what kind of changes or what kind of challenges you're going through. But you are the only person who is trying to give all that kind of love that anybody else could give you. So in my case, the way I show myself love is something that nobody else can do that in my life, okay? And sometimes we live like everyone is watching and judging, but every decision feels like a performance, okay? As in, when we go out for a party or anything like that, so we want to dress well, we want to look really good, and we think that, okay, everybody is gonna be appreciating me or giving me compliments. But if we have that sense of validation, rather than you doing the things for your own self, then that cycle will keep on repeating and we'll not be able to come out of that because we are stuck in that mindset again, that approval, that validation is always going to be from outside, not from inside. So real self-love means making choices for your own peace and not for approval. When you let go imaginary judgment, life feels lighter and the right people will stay, others will naturally drift away. So judgment is something that we are so used to nowadays, that we love judging people because we judge ourselves all the time. So the mantra that I use for myself to remove any kind of judgment from my life is to say, nobody is better than me. I am not better than anyone. People are people. I accept them the way they are. If you take that decision, you got to change for yourself first, which is the most important thing, rather than for anyone else, then that sense of judgment or the approval goes away. So life is never a straight line because we keep going through challenges from our childhood to our school to our colleges. Then we start working somewhere, and then we have families, and those challenges will keep appearing in the form of different things, from your relationship point of view, from your health point of view, from financial point of view, so on and so forth, right? But when things go wrong and when you feel disappointed, and or all the plans that you got, they fall apart, right? We get all those kind of worries, anxieties, fears, right? And in those moments, surface approval disappears. You would have seen, when you're going through challenges, all these surface level things, they disappear. Why? Because then we are looking for solutions, and we are not looking for investing our energy into something that will not help us to resolve that problem in our lives, okay? But real love stays there forever and says you're still valuable. The most growth happens when you accept yourself through challenges. This is the most important time, when you start increasing that amount of self-love that you deserve, that you are worthy of, and that you are meant for. And each time you do that, you become stronger. You become emotionally stronger. You become mentally stronger. You know where you got to work in your life, and you know how to get out of those situations. Think of something difficult you're carrying right now, and can you accept yourself even in that situation? You should ask yourself that question, rather than worrying, rather than feeling anxious, rather than feeling fearful about what's going to happen next. So self-love isn't all about being perfect, okay? Or never wanting approval. Let me be very straightforward. Self love is never perfect. Love is never perfect. It's about choosing yourself more often. It's waking up knowing your worth doesn't depend on anyone else. It's moving through life with quiet confidence. Remember these three things. Your value is already yours. Choose yourself daily in small ways and seek peace over approval. What's the one way that you're gonna practice self-love this week? Share that on the comment section and I'll be happy to reply to that as well. So surface level love is always conditional, is always looking for validation, is always looking for approval, doesn't know your real worth. That surface level love doesn't know your value. The surface level love doesn't know your self-respect. But your true love gives you everything. Because always remember, what you are is what you're gonna get. This is Sunny, signing off. Take care.